I'm talking about the Global Code of Ethics, and the Global Code of Ethics has, for me, multiple applications. And one of the points it makes right at the beginning of the Global Code is for those of us that are using coaching, mentoring skills and approaches, but are not necessarily working within the profession. So that would typically be a leader who wishes, or a manager who wishes to develop their coaching skills to bring in their primary function of leadership or management. And that's the subtle difference. But the Global Code applies. So I like to think of this as a global code of ethics for leaders, managers. So yes, a leader or a manager typically grows up within a profession, an area of specialty, and then works through an organisation or their own organisation, and then the further they go in terms of their leadership management, typically the less they do operationally. Danger comes when often they are doing the leadership and management and actually get stuck into the operational stuff, and no doubt that is very challenging for those who are in the operational part of the business, so leave well alone. But that aside, the Global Code of Ethics applies to the work we do and the thinking we do as leaders using coaching as a skill set in a way. And that skill set comes into leadership, and I firmly believe as a coach and as a leader of an organisation, then you have to give yourself the space to lead in the same way we give ourselves the space to coach. So that is essential. Do you have a brain that has the headspace to use the language and the skills and the timing and the pace that coaching brings? And that is so important, because if you are operationally challenged, then I would ask, should you be, because you're operating at strategic level? You have other people to do that who can do that much better typically than we can do. So operating at that level. And then the strategic, then where is it? Because you're only as good as the brain space you have. And that is important. And if you have watched others of my videos, then you will know that I love that presence and that space that stepping outside the business gives. So the stepping outside may be physically being outside and walking or doing something very different. And I talked about that previously about morning pages. So really, how do you gain that headspace as a leader in order that you can be curious with your team and you can ask great questions? And that demands energy, it demands time, and it demands thought. So all of that approach is when you're asking, how do you go into that by removing the thinking of an individual to really understand? So you might have a particular bias or a particular flavour that you would like to bring into the conversation. Is that a management leadership conversation, or is that more of a, do you park that and have much more of a coaching openness and curious and questioning? So it is always worth looking at the 4 sections of the Global Code of Ethics to think, how well am I operating in this way, and what do I need to do? So as leaders and managers, then just have a look at that code. I think it will fit beautifully with any other codes that you operate under professionally, whether that be CMI, whether that be Institute of Directors, whether that be the Royal Society of Arts. So really think about how that fits and use it. Really use the asset that you have as a leader, manager that works and lives the coaching, questioning and listening. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.